everything.
Process is
Everything.
process is
Everything.
process everything.
Everything. Process is everything.
Well, here we go again. Another little show. We call it Process is Everything. Hello, Blake. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, buddy? I'm blessed.
I'm Tracy Good. This is Blake Cook, and we interview some of the finest people in the country, and buddy, today is no exception.
Oh, wow.
we have got the great Milan Patel, and let's go ahead and start this out. Blake's got a question for
Let's
you.
let's clear the air.
Uh-huh.
People go straight to Milan. They go straight to
Milan.
Milan. What is it?
Yeah, so the Indian pronunciation is Milan.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we
Milan.
know you as
That's
Milan.
right.
I've been
That's
saying
right.
Milan for years.
Yeah, that's the Indian. It's Milan in Russia. It's Milan in Italy, Spain. There's a different pronunciation, like if you go to like Taiwan and all those areas. So it's but in Indian, it's Milan.
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 I love. We had it right this whole time.
Yep.
Well, listen, when we were going to get started today, we were going to bring in seltzers from
Yes.
Bottoms Up. Shout out to Bottoms
Hey,
Up.
shout
down
out.
the
Thank you.
street.
Thank you.
And we were going to do a taste test. We didn't set it up, but I want to know if you even like seltzers.
Yeah, so I like the spirit-based ones.
right.
Are they all spirits?
Now some are malt, and that doesn't exactly appetize me. I mean, I feel I taste the aftertaste, but I like the vodka base, like the
Those
high noons.
the Happy Dads
Okay.
are pretty sick, though.
Yeah, I've had it before, but I'm spoiled, so I like the high noons.
What's your favorite high noon?
Peach.
Oh man, and I love High Noon. Blake, for my birthday last year, he brought me a 4-pack of High Noon.
Yeah, and it was
I-
$48.
I drank every one of them and ran around.
That was not from Bottoms Up.
I've tried to recreate them at home, and man, it's a hit or miss. I've tried to do the 4 or 5 shots of seltzer, 1 shot of vodka, and like a little bit shot of juice, and I just can't get it right.
Man, I tried to make my own Frosties from Wendy's, and it's just never the same. I never.
So, like owning a liquor store, right? Do you drink often? Do you drink every day?
Yeah,
Twice
good question.
A week? Yeah, every
Twice
day.
a week?
Yeah, okay.
3 times a week, maybe?
Good.
Yeah.
Semi-pro. You're a
Yeah.
semi-pro.
Maybe I replace out the Coke. You know what I mean? Like if I had to have a tasty beverage, I mean, used to be nobody looked at calories and sugar and all that, but now you're like, well, if I can have which I love Coca-Cola by the way, but I mean, if you could have a 1 Coke or 1 High Noon, you'd probably say, well, let me get the High Noon and Mick Ultra or whatever. You just get a tasty beverage, with your meal or whatever.
You are so much more than people ever. I mean, you're always moving. You're a part of so many community organizations. You're doing things. You're on the move all the time. I didn't even know until today. I started doing a little research for show prep. University of Oxford.
Yeah. I mean,
Economics.
yeah.
Cool. That's awesome.
It was just a little summer thing, but I mean, it was a great experience. I stayed there 4 months.
Awesome.
I did good, and for someone that came from the South,
Oh, yeah.
we were just as educated as they were.
How about that?
That's right.
They
right?
just talk funny.
Yeah, we talk a little slower, but we're smart.
That's all right. Yeah, that's a miss. You say if you talk slow, no.
That's
you talk
right.
slow, you just got more time to
Slower.
think about
That's
it.
right. So
BBA from Terry University.
Yep.
And then, of course, MBA from Mercer.
Emory,
Oh, Emory.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
still O on it, so don't be sorry.
So when you say you're from the South, where are you from?
So I was born at Edison, New Jersey, is where I was born. We didn't stay there long, and then
Not the South.
Yeah, not the
Not
South.
the South.
And then I spent a good bit of my early childhood in lower Appalachian Mountains, a town called Rocky Mount, Virginia.
Very cool.
It's near Roanoke.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Oh, yeah.
it's near Roanoke, Blacksburg, Virginia Tech,
Okay.
where Michael Vick was from.
Yes, sir.
So we were probably about 35 minutes outside of Roanoke. And then at 11, moved to a suburb of Atlanta, Noonan, Georgia,
Wow.
and stayed there until.
How was that experience?
Man, at the time it was heartbreaking, right? Because you give up and lose what you think is normal. But when I look back at it, it was probably, I'm glad my dad moved around. When I say moved around, I mean, we didn't move around like military, but I'm glad I saw a couple of different cultures at an early age.
Awesome.
That is awesome. This hat on your head, you big Atlanta Braves fan, or is that just a sweet hat? I
Yeah,
love the hat.
You know, I'm real eclectic in that sense.
Yeah.
If I like the colors in something,
Oh yeah,
it's like an instant buy. I mean, I'm very spontaneous. So I'm the wrong person to send into a grocery store or whatever. But no, I love the colors. I like the. I'm not trying to make a statement, but I love the Braves. I mean,
yeah.
obviously, I saw when Sid Bream slid into home, obviously. So you know,
The collision
I'm,
at
yeah,
home play.
I'm very
Big play. We
very
all
very
remember that.
nostalgic. That's right. So, but I love the colors more so than anything else. And if it would have had something else, I wouldn't have bought it. But it had Atlanta, so you know, I mean, match made in heaven.
Go for it.
So you have a ton of stuff going on all the time. Tell us about some of the things that you're into right now. I know you do some real estate stuff. You got Bottoms Up that's coming out. What's some of the big things that you're doing right now?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I mean, I would say even the small things are big, right? Because you impact everybody, you impact people, you impact your community. So, I mean, you know, overall, we probably have two parts of our business, which, you know, if I didn't get asked, you know, I wouldn't share it. But we run going concern businesses, and then we also are, I would say, we're moderate, you know, real estate developers, right? So what we did recently, which we're still kind of doing, is, you know, we were the successful buyer of the bankrupt assets of the Sears Roebuck Corporation here in Albany. So that was a challenge to get that and then find value in it. And then one of the ways we found value was we basically excavated the building and got rid of it, and we were able to sell the part of that mall property to a hotel developer. And, you know, these are the things you have to do. I mean, you know, malls are dying in the United States. There's no question about it. But the underlying opportunity under the mall isn't dying. You know, so things, you know, and that's where opportunity comes from. It comes from a death. You know, nothing living is an opportunity, right? So, you know, they say death is the greatest change agent in the world because it creates the next opportunity. So, you know, so that's something we're doing. I mean, obviously, we would have loved to. We were, we unsuccessfully made a bid for the mall property, the rest of it, and we were unsuccessful in that, and it wasn't meant to be at that time. But you know, good things are going to come to Albany Mall. There's a lot of people here that need services and shop and need goods, and I don't see that area going bad anytime soon. It will get revitalized at some point.
Sure. I mean, but for the locals that might be listening to this, is something happening with the hotel? Is the hotel going to go up?
Yeah. So the gentleman is a local. It's a local franchisee here. He's regional, in fact. He's very successful. So he's going to do a good project, and it just brings. It's a very comforting thing to see 100, 120 nice parked cars in a very well lit parking lot in the middle of your town. Yeah. The last thing you need,
Absolutely.
you know, in emotion they say darkness creates darkness, right? Like, so if you have a bad day, if you had a day that didn't work out, that's darkness. So then you'll lead to more darkness. So the real estate business is the same way. Yeah. Darkness creates darkness. You have to keep businesses lit, open, and successful, because then one creates the other. So hopefully having light at the Albany Mall in terms of a new open business will maybe shed light on some other businesses.
Where does all of this philosophy come from that you bring into your day-to-day life and business?
Yeah, man, it's just your personal ethos, right? I mean, I read a lot. I get inspired by the things I see, the things I read, the things that make me feel good, the things that make me happy. And I know that's a cliche word, but you know, happiness is not a destination, right? It's a journey. So you just have to wake up every day thinking that you're doing the right thing, and if it makes you feel good and truly good with utmost confidence and utmost self-reflection, then you did something right.
Was 11-year-old Milan an entrepreneur? That's I've always, you know.
So 11-year-old Milan was probably very scared. He was, but I mean, it just, my childhood is probably, I wouldn't say broken, but it was challenged, right? Like, so, you know, so I grew up in a time where people of minority significance were often, you know, so there was a time they were like, you're either black, you're either white American, black American, or you're other. And if you're other, you're most related to the most majority population at the time, which was Latin, Hispanic, you know? So I was often misconstrued outside of Indian origin. You know, goes to show you, like, you know, and I disbelieve in some of this theory, but we we live in a world where people are may lead you to believe there's more division and racism than possible. And I would tell you that I disbelieve that, because we're more educated today. We're more likely to try other foods and cultures and clothing styles, and I think we're more receptive. I think there's someone out there that wants us to believe differently. But truly, when I was growing up, that was the notion, that they didn't know you as Milan or whatever. They just knew you as what they thought you were. And oftentimes correcting that was not very beneficial. So you just lived through it.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I'd say it was challenging. I'd say I was very different compared to everyone else. So, but you know, hey, I lived through it, and I had some good years, and I learned a lot from it.
So where did the entrepreneurial spirit come from?
Boredom. You know, just God Almighty, just you know, being bored can be good, and being bored. I mean, being bored can be very good sometimes. And I shouldn't say boredom, but lack of satisfaction. And I tell people all the time, like, I'm very happy, but I'm not satisfied.
Right.
And if you're not satisfied, then you keep going. So at some point, I just maybe wasn't satisfied. Yeah. And not being satisfied, you always think that, you know, you can do it, right? Like, so you see something, you can do it. I mean, you see someone else do it, you think you can do it. So that's kind of a little bit of that combination of boredom, not being satisfied, and sometimes success, right? Like, if you do it one time and you did it right, then you're like, okay, I can do it again.
It's fun.
It's fun. That's
Yeah.
right.
Do you see that in your kids now? Or are they, you watching dad? How many kids you have?
2.
So these two little guys are watching dad and mom do their thing, go through life in the process. This is a process show.
Yeah, that's right.
They're watching how you do things. Are you seeing some of the things that you were?
Yeah, so it's interesting, you know, I've known my wife for 22 years, and she and I are total opposites. I'm very one way, and she's the other extreme, and in that regard, we're polarizing. She's very risk adverse. She's a school teacher. She sweats when the gas light comes on, and I push it.
I love it.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's on 0 for 20 miles, and I'm like, it's going to be okay.
5 more miles, baby.
5 more miles, right? I mean, so we're very opposites in that case. So what I enjoy seeing is I enjoy seeing a product of someone that can take the qualities of 2 different, but yet I would like to say beautiful characteristics. You know, I think there's qualities about me that can be deemed beautiful, and I definitely know there's qualities about her that I take to be beautiful. But, you know, so she's very warm. She's incredibly caring, giving. She's organized, which I'm organized, but in a chaotic way. So you see, and then what it is that, you know, if someone told me to be a certain way that was opposite of me, I would defend it. I would say no. But I enjoy seeing it in someone else that I'm, you know, going through life with. You know, like, awesome. I enjoy being around people that are not like me. Right. Because that's where you make a lot of movement, right? Because you have someone on your side that's different from you.
I'm the opposite of my wife. She's extremely intelligent.
I would disagree there. I think you both probably are on the same scale there.
She has great taste, though.
She tell you a terrible taste in men.
So in 15 seconds, name all of the businesses that you're involved in.
Oh, wow. So let's see. I have Nukes. I have Bottoms Up. I'm a commercial landlord. We have probably 120,000 square feet of rentable space. We have 4, 5, 6, 7 ground leases. We have a lodging business in Noonan. We have a couple retail stores. We're master developing a very big parcel of land in Noonan, Georgia. So, I mean, we just are, I wish I had 2 extra hours in a day, man.
Well, I mean, some people can't juggle making the oatmeal, getting the coffee, and getting to work. How do you manage and juggle all of these things at one time?
You share the opportunity. You know, you can't, you know, you only need one plate to eat. Mm-hmm. So when you share the opportunity, you find people that believe in your vision. It's just that, see, in the Indian culture, this is what we believe. We believe a good partner is your opposite hand. So, like, most people are right-handed, right? Mm-hmm. So we believe that when you have the right partner, that person gives you 2 right hands. So now you have 2 dominant hands. So if you normally everybody has a strong hand and a weak hand. Yep. But how could you change the world if you had 2 strong hands?
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
You know, so great. And that's what you do in life. You try to always get a stronger hand or a stronger mind or a stronger body or a stronger vehicle or whatever. You know, you try to add strength. So, you know, you share the opportunity, man. I mean, you know, I hope this doesn't sound wrong because I hope it sounds good, but I was fortunate enough not to have to work to provide anymore. And when I was able to work to build things and build others, it became a lot more fun. It became a lot more motivating. But that was just 10, 12 years ago. I was working to survive. I was working to pay bills, and that's the great thing about life. Life's 10 years at a time.
Yep.
And that's what I believe. And you can have a bad 10 years and you can have an awesome 10 years. So you share the opportunity, man. Some people don't have, I tell people all the time, we're the same. It's just that maybe I have more resources. I tell that to everyone. I tell that to people that wash cars, that are teachers, that do even high level or low or mid level trades. We're the exact same. Some just have more resources, and that's a very in deep thing if you think about it, and that's what separates a lot of society. It's just access to resources.
And not everyone wants to be Milan Patel. Some people want to go to one job. They want to get off at 5 o'clock and they want to do their thing.
No doubt about it. And that's a great thing.
Absolutely.
That there's many times that the naysayer in me wishes I could be that way. Yeah. And maybe one day I'll train myself to be that way.
Come on now.
It'd be a training, okay?
Right.
I mean, it'd be like dieting.
It'd be a whooping.
Okay.
It'd be a process.
It'd be a dieting. I mean, it'd literally be like giving up. It'd be like giving up chicken wings for green beans and asparagus or something. You know what I mean? I mean, it'd be a training, okay?
So out of all of your ventures, and I don't want to go to that dark place,
Sure.
but tell me what you consider to be your biggest failure out of all your ventures.
Yeah.
And if you can think of it, how did you learn from it?
So I can say I have multiple failures. I have failures that were financial, and I have failures where we ended the partnership and there was a big fight. So I would say failures are multiple ways. I've had ventures where I was incredibly successful on the financial side, and the people were just not happy or something. So failures come in many forms. I mean, obviously what you're asking seems like a little bit more economically driven, but
Sure.
But I mean, I'd have some failures. Some were like where you didn't exactly harmonize the relationship at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And for that answer, I would say what I learned from it was just don't be with bad people. And the world tests you with bad people because it tests you how you're going to react. And back then I used to fight, and today I'll walk away. And don't get me wrong, now I can still fight if I have to. But the problem is, if you ever want a headache, watch two smart people fight. Yeah. And watch two strong people fight or two rich people fight. It's a headache.
Well, and two, with having multiple businesses, obviously that means you're sharing that investment, or you have a lot of employees as well. Right now it's a very difficult time to find, maintain, retain good people. Seems like you do a pretty fantastic job considering the situations that we're in right now. How do you do that? How do you make that work?
Man, again, you share the opportunity. One of the tricks that I've always used, I shouldn't say trick because it sounds like it's almost like orchestrated, but one of my, I don't want to say mission because that seems like a business word, but one of my joys is to ask someone who comes before me what their goals are. And I think a lot of times in life, like whether you work or this or that, ultimately there's a goal that you have that you're trying to get to. Like, I don't live to work, right? I work to live. I mean, no, hold on. I don't live to work. I work so I can live. Right? That's what I meant to say.
That's right.
So I mean, I love what I do, don't get me wrong, but that's just the engine that gets me somewhere. So a lot of times, Blake, to answer your question, man, you really got to get into them and see what makes, listen, I can't make everyone an owner, but I can really help you accomplish a lot of your goals. And you'd be surprised how simple a lot of people's goals are. Yeah. I mean, some people just want to be a homeowner. It's not that hard. Some people, I'll give you an example. Before this inflationary period, you can get a decent house on the 229 for, let's say, $180,000. Okay. You can get an FHA loan for $3,000. 3% down. All right. 180 at 3%. That's $5,000-6,000. Some people struggle to accumulate $5,000-6,000. But what if someone like me makes that go away? I mean, you could change a lot of people's lives with $5,000-6,000.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that I wouldn't want it back, or maybe I forgive it, or maybe we say that's your monthly bonus for 12 months and it's gone. I mean, but you got to get creative. You have to, you have to want for the other person in front of you to do well.
Right.
And you have to truly want it. No strings attached. No, and you can't do it to have elation, not elation, what's the word I'm looking for? Significance, or be on social media. I mean, if you're doing it, you know if you're doing it for the right reason.
That's right.
So, but that's just a great example. Like, that's homeownership. And a lot of people don't have that path to homeownership. I mean, you have to have that person that comes in your life that says, well, how can I get you over that?
That's right.
And then here's the other thing. Sometimes the 3% would help, but then you need to put another 2% down if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, if a bad AC happens or this happens, but you just gotta be in that. You have to have it in your spirit, in your heart, to say, I want to do this.
Yeah, and you have to pour into people,
You have to
which
pour
means
into people.
being there. And I see you at your restaurant, at Bottoms Up, wherever it is. I see you there a lot, and you're interacting with them, and you have to be present.
Yeah, never do a business. Listen, a lot of people, what I do is called alternative investments, right? Like, because I'm not just parking money in the stock market or bonds or equities or whatever. It's not a passive, like, it's not a blind investment to me, right? It's very active. Like, our doors open and close every day, right? Mm-hmm. So they're alternative. Don't get into alternative business if you don't like what it comes up with. If you don't like people, don't get in the customer service business. But then don't complain that people complain, because they're going to complain.
Absolutely.
So I'll tell you a little quick story. So about 2 years ago during the pandemic, I was cutting a pizza with my right hand. My right hand had a glove on. My left hand did not have a glove on, but I didn't touch the food. I keep the left hand for my phone, so I can reach here. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of coordinated, right? So this hand here, this hand cuts, and you serve it. So you just have to be multitasking,
Sure.
So I had a lady. She was kind of in the foyer area, and she summons me. Which, oh man, Type A people hate to be summoned. Okay, man, let me tell you something. So this right here does not work for me. But anyway, but she summons me. And out of the courtesy of customer respect, I subordinated, and I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "Please don't touch my food." I said, "How'd I touch your food?" She goes, "Your hand touched the phone." I said, "No, ma'am. That hand touched the phone. This hand did not touch the food. This hand had a glove, and this hand had a cutter. So I just don't want you to touch my food." I said, "Did you come here to fight with me?" I said, "Let me tell you something. You have two choices. You can give me a hug and sit down, or you can leave."
Wow.
But you can give me a hug and then sit down, and I'm going to go back there. I'm going to get your food, and it's going to be like the most enjoyable lunch ever. Ooh. But you're going to give me a hug right now.
Oh,
and you're going to sit down. And she's like, "Okay." And I said, "Where's the hug?"
Hug it out.
Yep. So I said, "Give me the hug." I hugged her, and she sat down, and she got her pizza, and she laughed at the end. And I think what we live in a society is that 9 out of 10 people would have said, "Man, this, shut up, blah, blah, blah." But you have to find you don't know what she went through that day.
Right.
And I gave her that courtesy. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, after I asked for that hug, if she would have then, then that's where you defend yourself, right? So I gave the grace the second time. Mm-hmm. And she responded. She gave me grace back. And we ended that 3 minutes of interaction favorably. But that's what's missing.
She probably needed a hug.
She needed a hug. That's
right.
And that was my way of telling her, man, we're not talking about that. Because I didn't touch your food. So that's what's missing.
Yeah, don't let your right hand know what pizza your left hand has been dealing with.
Or your cell phone is on.
So you said that you like to start your day off on a positive note, reading positive things. What are some of the things that you read? Do you read books? You read newspaper? What are you reading?
So I read a lot of apps. I read a lot of neutral things. So I don't like news,
What's a neutral thing?
Parenting.
Okay.
Gardening.
Leadership, entrepreneurship, finance. Things that have a lot of facts.
Yeah.
And when I say facts, I mean objective facts. Like the weather is 78, or that's a fact. But we don't need to hear it's pretty a cold day to be 78. I don't need the noise. You know what I mean? So it's just a lot of things that just information, and then best practices, right? So I learn a lot of things. I do read a lot of things about parenting because I just want to see what other people do. You know, so we were parents late in life. So just I read things like that. I read a lot of like goal casts, like different viewpoints. And then let me tell you what other thing I do. And I read a lot of things. I read a lot from things that I disagree with because it keeps my mind incredibly, not gonna say liberal, but tolerant.
Elastic.
I read a lot of things I disagree with. So if I disagree with something, I follow that page. And the reason I follow it because I just can't let my brain be surprised by the evil or the nonsense that's in the world. So I have to digest it very purposefully, just to know that that's out there.
So on that note, and I'm a very routine guy. You know, I just follow the same routine every day, pretty much. There's a big diversity in things that I do every single day. Are you like that? Like you get up, you read for an hour, you check in on a business.
So I don't know if this is good or bad, but I've let the outside world control my world for so long that I'm not being able to have a routine.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the lines, it became an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only way. Now I do have, you know, if I like today, I mean, I was able to with you guys working with my schedule, I was able to come, and I think I came on time when I said I can come. So
Perfect.
there's some of that I do. I mean, I'm a very reliable person. I'm very punctual when it comes to that way. But I've let the outside world dictate, and dictate's the right word, lead, maybe put out fires, whatever you want to say. But I try to be routine. Like I'd love to go to the gym every day or run in the morning or whatever. And for the most part, I do. But there's a huge percentage of me that's being dictated by external forces. Whether it's challenges, problems, meetings, uncertainties, whatnot. And that's been okay with me. You know, I mean, I've just lived that way for so long. And that's why I tell you, I think I one day I have to train myself to walk away from it.
Yeah.
You know, and Kobe Bryant had I followed Kobe a lot, and he had a quote, and he said, when he retired from basketball, he had a quote, he had a saying, he put it in the Wall Street Journal, the New York or USA Today, and he said, "I'm ready to let you go now." Mm-hmm. You know, we've given each other all that we've had. And that basically, he was talking about basketball, because his love affair for basketball is literally like so singular and so convicted and emotional. It was this thing that he had to say, man, I got to walk away from this. Because, you know, I can't do it anymore. My body can't do it. I can't do it at the best anymore. But he just trained his brain to walk away from it. So, but he says, I'm ready to let you go now. And that's, I think all people have to train themselves to one day say, I'm ready to let you go now.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's so powerful. I went through, this is very dorky, but Marie Kondo, the Konmari Method. This is of like essentialism or getting rid of stuff. And for a lot of people, including myself, it's like you walk into your closet. It's like, man, I've got so much stuff in here I haven't even seen in 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. And what she says is like, look at that piece of clothing you haven't seen in a year and go, hey, you served your purpose. Yep. Sayonara.
Tell it goodbye.
Right.
Tell it goodbye. And it really does free up a lot of space, not just for time, but just like in your heart.
No, and the giving mentality is proven to have so much inner spirit, right? So one time someone asked me, there's just between being rich and wealthy, right? Like there's that little saying. So, and I learned this a while back. They say, it's not what you have, it's the less you need. Mm-hmm. And I've consciously tried to train myself the last few years. It's not what I have or what I can achieve or what I can accumulate. It's the less that I need. And right now, I do need some resources because, I'm raising a family or whatnot. I mean, I need access to somewhat decent medicine or healthy food or living quarters, a vehicle, clothes, soap, just this, and then some things that enjoy life, right? I mean, everybody, but it's not, if you think this brand new SUV is going to make you happy, and you're just going to be incredibly disappointed in a very, very, very short period of time. Because then you're not going to get the right color.
I'm selling my Suburban.
Then you're not going to get the right color. It's not going to have the right feature. And don't get me wrong, nothing wrong to have a toy, but have it for the reasons that are near and dear to you, and don't let anyone else compromise that.
Can we make a deal?
What's that?
If you ever get rid of that hat, will you give it to me?
Man, you can get it now.
Listen, at what point, this is always a fun question for me, but was there a certain period of time or a day where you knew, not you made it, you never make it, like you said, it is a journey and it's all about the journey, but financially speaking, where you said, okay, I'm going to be all right?
You know, so I lived in Rocky Mount, Virginia, right? I'm about to answer that question. So I lived in Rocky Mount, Virginia, and Rocky Mount, Virginia was 20 minutes, 25 minutes outside of Martinsville, Virginia. And Martinsville, Virginia is on the circuit, the NASCAR circuit, okay? So believe it or not, in the 1980s, I went to many NASCAR races.
How about that?
Because a lot of people stayed in my mom and dad's business, and we became friends with the customers and whatnot, and that was the era of the Motor Inn, right? Like that's when, before hoteling became major franchises and whatnot, you stayed at the Motor Inn. That was the Motor Inn minus the bread and breakfast, right? Whatever. So I actually went to Martinsville. I want to say 3-4 times, and my dad followed a NASCAR driver called Bill Elliott, and Bill Elliott is one of the few people to ever win the Winston Million. He won like 3-4. He won like Talladega, Daytona, and Darlington, and something like that. Anyways, so that was such a big thing, right? Like in the 80s, to say you had $1 million was a big thing. Like it was, they called it the Winston Million. It was, so for the longest time, all I ever knew was success was to be a millionaire. And it was always that dream, like millionaire. Now, we all know that a millionaire doesn't mean you have $100 million in cash, right? Between your net worth, your liquidity, or whatever, you have $1 million. Those whatever.
On the books.
On the books. And my dream was to be a millionaire at 30, and I did it sooner, and I was empty inside. And then I lost it all, and when I had to come back up, I didn't do it for the number. But there was a time in my life for 3-4 years, I was just chasing the zero. I was chasing, everybody chases the comma, right? 1 comma 3 zeros. Then you chase 1 0 comma 3 zeros. Then 1 0 0 comma 3 zeros. And I think it's awesome, but I do remember when that time hit, it was not as good as I thought it was. It was okay.
And you say you lost it all. Do you want to talk about that? Or
Yeah,
no?
I mean, just overzealous business decisions, putting it all on the line. And, when I bought a business here when I was 22 and I sold it at 25, and that's when I achieved that status. And, giving a young man, a young partnership, $1 million in liquidity with some leverage is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
And it's also very devastating, especially when it goes wrong.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So, had a couple failed. One of the projects I was in had a failed lender. The FDIC failed banks. I had a failed note at the bank. I mean, it was a mess. So then you get this litigation, this and that, and when it was all said and done, man, it was just messy. I mean, the great thing about this country is it lets you fail. If you fail in Russia, Abu Dhabi, China, they'll kill you. You can't owe somebody money, right? It's eye for an eye. This country doesn't kill you. They sue you. They take you to court. They settle with you. They let you come back up. So, people don't understand that being the foremost democracy in the world has its advantages. Did it feel good on the inside? No. I mean, being a failure sucks, but I'm not a quitter, right?
Right.
But I'm certainly a failure. I tell people all the time I'm a failed businessman, but past tense.
Right.
You did pretty good on the come up.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
That was a
past
good
tense.
teacher.
And I'm still a failed businessman. I make decisions on a daily basis that I fail at. But overall, I don't want to consider myself a failure, but I am a failed businessman, So, but nonetheless, I mean, failures are awesome things. So, but it wasn't what I thought it was. And then when you come back up, with a different, like a different personal ethos and a different community ethos, and you just go from there.
With the failures and the successes, and where is the time where you stop trying to innovate, stop trying to stick? I mean, obviously you hire good people around you. When do you say I'm going to let them have it?
They've already had it.
Yeah.
They've always had it. The last 3 years, believe it or not, I don't chase anything. It all comes to me. And that's probably one of the biggest blessings I've ever had. People come to me and I don't say that like I'm this big bad guy. I mean, everybody that knows me knows, man, I stay as low to the ground as I possibly can. you have to build your life in such a significance that somebody can come to you and trust you. And if you do that, you know, my dad had a saying that every dollar you'll ever make is in somebody else's hands. Well, every opportunity you'll ever have is somebody else's hands.
Yep.
You know, so you have to be that person that can coach, tutor, bridge. I got a friend of mine. I graduated Emory with him, and he's got a son. So the friend that I graduated Emory with is my age. I was a very young person at Emory. I was like, when I went through the program, I was like 29. But a lot of the people, the average age was like 42, whatever, 39, 42. So I was one of the youngest people in the class. Out of 75, I was like the third, fourth youngest. Anyways, so he has a son that graduated high school last year, one of those very, very well-regarded high school. Well, he was a NASA scholar. He went to Stanford. And he had some questions about how to do something, and his dad says, call Milan. And man, that's the thing that I'm most proud of. Like, when I say proud of, man, like, it brings weakness to me because, like, of all the people he could have told, he told me. You know, he said, you know, when someone trusts you with their kids, that's like a salutation that's just not explainable, you know? So he trusts me with his child in a way that says, you know, guide him. And he calls me sometimes. We talk 2-3 times a year. And man, he's gonna invent something. Okay, let me tell you something. This kid's gonna I mean, everybody that's a billionaire invents something, and man, this kid's gonna invent something. You know, I mean, he's sharp. I mean, he was a NASA scholar. He was one of 2 NASA scholars 2 years ago. So you can just, you know, Google up something I'm about to tell you, and you'll figure out who the kid is. But I mean, this guy, he's gonna invest. He's gonna invent something. He's gonna sell to SpaceX. I mean, this guy is smart. So when he calls me, he's like, "What do I do? I got this guy trying to give me $1 million." I was like, "Yeah, man, like, why, you know, do this. He said, "Well, I'm worried. What if I don't have the money?" I was like, "Listen, man, stay focused. Build it. If you build it, the resources will come. Focus on building it." You know, so you just have to remind them something, because in the day, they're still kids.
Yep.
You know, they got some ideas that are not kidly or not youthful, but man, they got some genius, okay? Like, you're like, man, how come I didn't think of this? But even if I thought of this, I wouldn't know how to do anything. I don't know physics and all that stuff, but I mean, so, you know, I get a lot of joy out of that, you know, and that's where the opportunities have come from. You know, it's just come from, and you know, you would think that, oh, okay, he's got this young kid in his life, he's just going to use him and make a bunch of money. You'd be surprised half the times I don't invite myself in those deals. I say, no, go somewhere else. Because, you know, I don't want to be, what's that word? A shark.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to shark it. I want to guide it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, man, you know, not all money is meant to be made by you.
That's right.
Right? Like, you know, here's the thing. If you look at the billionaires index, you look at the top 50, they all got something really wrong with their lives. Okay? Go 1 to 50. And everyone either has been not happily married, there's something wrong with the kids, there's something wrong with the health, there's something wrong with their siblings, there's something wrong with their families. Something is wrong. Why would you want to emulate that?
Do you think that they kind of traded off some balance with, you know,
Just because you're rich doesn't mean you know
seeking
life.
for money?
Yeah, just because you're rich don't mean you know life.
So true.
And then they want to donate all of it and find some significance. You shouldn't have donated when you had it. You should have donated in the journey,
Right.
right? Because then you're giving away to strangers.
Yeah.
At least give to the person that got you there. You know, so if you look, like, I mean, I'm saying just look at the top 50. Like Amish Ambani, Mukesh Ambani in India, one of the richest men in India, doesn't get along with his brother. Don't get along with your brother. Like, I ain't saying you got to be BFFs, but don't get along with your blood brother.
Or
I mean,
Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Something's wrong in his life.
That's right. You know, so like, I mean, look at Bill Gates. He's just got divorced. I mean, you know, I think Buffett's got a great life. I mean, I don't see a lot that he's done wrong, but nonetheless, I mean, he's probably not a liar. But look at Jeff Bezos. He got divorced. I mean, you know, so if you look at, and I'm not saying divorce is a bad thing. Sometimes, you know, 2 people don't get along. That's fine. But look at the index. Something, you can find something.
Yeah.
You know, you can find something very distinctly. The Hyatt family doesn't get along. You know, the Pritzker family. So, you know, if you look at it, it's just, you if you read that, study that, learn from that, then you should be over here saying, I would never do that.
So what are some of the things outside of your family and your people that would do work for you? What are some of the things that give you fulfillment?
Yeah, I mean, I love fitness. I mean, I love to be outside. I love to walk.
Me too. I'm kidding.
I'm actually a decent basketball player, believe it or not. I like to play tennis. I like to swim. I like to go to the beach. I love traveling. I love to learn new cultures, eat new food. I love to cook. I love anything where there's a rather significant learning component. Mm-hmm. If I can learn from it, then I love it. And I mean, I'm not the kind of person, obviously, my color will tell you that. I'm not going to sit there in the middle of the beach just getting dark because they don't take long. So, if I'm at the beach, man, I'm doing something. Yeah. I'm either drinking, running, partying. I mean, I'm swimming. I mean, I just...
You don't stay still, do you?
No, man. But, I mean, I think I'm pretty healthy. I mean, I could probably lose a couple of pounds here and there. But, I mean, I've always had a good cholesterol. I don't eat red meat. I mean, But, I exercise pretty, and I try not to let things bother me. I mean, they used to bother me, and I probably aged myself. Guy installed my AC today. He goes, boss man, which I mean, I love it, but I hate it. You know? God, I mean, I'm like, man, what,
that means the bill is going to be really high.
Boss man.
Anyways, but I'm like, I try to, I don't think I look like a boss man, but anyways, but he's like, man, you cool people. I was like, I appreciate that. He goes, I said, young man, how old are you? He goes, 21. I said, well, man, I appreciate your spirit. I appreciate you smiling, whatever. He goes, man, how old is you? And I said, man, I'm 40. He's like, man, you doing something right. I was like, no, not really, man. I was like, doing a lot of wrong things, but I mean, just brush my teeth, wash my face, take a bath, and don't let things bother me, And then if I shave 5-8 years off my age, then so be it,
They call me boss man down at the Sizzler.
That's okay.
They love it when I walk through the door. Hey, boss man.
I love your idea about life in 10-year increments.
Yeah.
What's the next 10 years look like for you?
So I'll answer that question from where I think that 10 years started. Okay, so my best 10 years of my life was 15 to 25. All right? What I learned, who I became, who I matured into, and what I grew in 10 years was unreal. I went from being semi-bullied to experiencing the world and coming back and had my passport stamped 25 times. And I got married, and I just had this incredible, promising outlook on life, which I pursued. Mm-hmm. But that was my best 10 years. Couldn't do wrong. And then what goes up must come down, right? Right. So I had my worst 10 years. So like 28 to 38 was my worst 10 years. And from about 38, and I'm 40 now, but starting at 38 has been an incredible ride. And, if everything works out, it'll probably be my real best 10 years. Mm-hmm. So, and no, I'd say 38, it might be 36, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, but these, so when it wasn't financial, we struggled in other ways. We couldn't have kids for 5-6 years, so we struggled 4 or 5 years. So, both my kids are in vitro babies. Mm-hmm. So at some point you wake up and you say, I won't be a father. Mm-hmm. I won't have kids. And you have to accept things because otherwise you'll go crazy. Yeah. And at that time I just said, I won't be a dad, and that's okay. I'll love up on other people's kids. And, and I made a promise, and I'm a spiritual person. I hope everybody is, because you have to believe in something outside of yourself. But I remember when we were going through the infertility, I remember something empowered me to have a talk to myself or to the wall or to the sky or to God or whatever. And I just prayed, and I said, look, man, I mean, I promise you that if you make me a dad, and not really for me, I needed it for my wife because she would have went crazy. I probably would have been okay. I said, I promise I'll make the world a better place. And he gave me those kids, so then I got to fulfill my promise.
Wow.
I got to put people in houses. I got to educate kids.
That's awesome.
I always give $2 to the person standing outside of this building out front. Yeah. But guess what? I don't care what you use it for. I don't care if you use it for drugs, alcohol, food, hot dogs, chicken. It's not my business. Mm-hmm. But once it came out of my hand, the joy was done. Yep. How you use it is not my business. You know, so you have to when someone comes to you for a need, that's God testing you. What are you going to do? But then you can't have like a condition. You know, that's why people, they always say, I won't give you money, but I'll buy you food. That's a condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it puts it back on us.
It puts it back on you.
Yeah.
So if you have that, what if that person needed that money to go buy a pencil or a pen or something to sign something? You just don't know.
Right.
You know, like, I mean, I one time helped someone get a haircut. And with that haircut, they had the confidence to go to get a job.
That's awesome.
So, you don't know but, no one slows down enough to care.
That's right.
Or very few people slow down enough to care. I shouldn't say no one.
How did you get, this is the last one for me. How did you get to Southwest Georgia? We're glad you're here.
I appreciate that.
Amen.
So I bought a business. I was, y'all know they call them, if you go to Ashford Dunwoody Road, there's 2 office buildings. It used to be the W Hotel, but it might be called like the La Meridian or something. But anyways, it's at the corner of Ashford Dunwoody Road, right across from Perimeter Mall. Those 2 office buildings in the back, they're kind of like twin towers or whatever. I worked in one of them. I was a consultant, and like Blake said earlier, I get bored. So I was reading that back then. The AJC was gold, right? I mean, you read the AJC, I mean, and it's still a pretty good newspaper. It's pretty moderate. But anyways, I was reading it, and as a child, it was sports first, and that's it. You throw the whole paper away. Well, then I got 15. It was business first.
Oh, yeah.
Then sports, whatever. Then it was real events, then business, then sports. So, what your interests change, right? Because you want to learn different things. So anyways, I went to the business section, and there was a classified ad. And I forgot it was a classified ad for something or something. No, that's what it was. I was looking for lease space in Columbus. And I looked at the newspaper article, and it said, vibrant business, for sale, prime Georgia location, call this. Or something like that. I can't remember. And I might be mistaking my facts here, but somehow or another I called it, and it was the person that was representing a business for sale in Albany. I've never heard of Albany. I was 22. And I called it, and my dad, while I was in the office, met the guy, and he looked at it, and he's like, Milan, it's a decent little small town business. And I was like, so, I mean, I was kind of getting bored. My boss was not nice. If I could describe her, there's a letter with a B, and I could, whatever. But I mean, she just was not nice.
Brat.
Yes.
I got you.
Bulldog.
Yeah, bulldog, all those. There's another one too. But anyways, but she was just not nice, incredibly, just a bully and whatever. So, I knew my days were limited. Because you have to figure out what you can't be in life, and I can't be suppressed. So once I know that's my condition, it was going to make me go crazy. So before you knew it, I was a business owner. Whatever money I had saved up, I put it on the line. I had $55,000 saved up at 22. A lot of waiting tables, a lot of computer programming. I mean, a lot of stock market. But most people come out of college with debt, and I was a Hope Scholar all 4 years, and I actually worked. All 4 years. So then made a business move, and it wasn't very good to me at first. Albany was tough to me. I mean, business wasn't immediately successful and whatnot. But hey, listen, it all worked itself out, and at the end, I mean, I stayed true to it, and I stayed true to the community, and the community ended up taking me. I mean, they said, we're going to welcome this person, and we're going to watch this person, come into our community, and we're going to support him. We're going to trade with him, and we're going to go from there. And I just did the rest of it.
That's
so
great.
Well, we think you're one of the pillars in the community.
Absolutely.
Well, I
we do.
appreciate
We're
that.
glad you're here.
I appreciate that. I mean, I've never looked at myself in that regard. I still don't. And, I usually end most conversations with, let me know if I can ever help you.
Well, this segment is called, let me just give you an example, but we'll tell you why it's called what it is. This segment is called First Class or Bus Pass. Now, let me give you an example. Blake, first class or bus pass, the beach.
I'd say first class, but I have to get one of those little tents that I can sit in so I don't get burned like a lobster.
Okay. So first class for you. I would say it's bus pass for me, only because I'm just tired of everybody looking at my body. I'm not a piece of meat. I'm kidding. So Blake's got a list of, this is rapid fire, so people can get in to see you a little bit more. This is fun. Rapid fire.
So, and let me make sure I don't read into it.
Sure.
Do you mean the journey to get there, or the style in which when you're there?
The stuff itself. If I say the beach, it's first class. Like I love it. The
Okay.
beach, I hate it. It's bus pass.
Okay, I got you.
And just a one sentence.
No, yeah, this
of
is
why.
fun. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
All right, go for it, Blake.
Camping.
Bus pass.
Amen, brother.
I don't do mosquitoes.
God, no.
I mean, like, dude, there's.
Do they have air conditioning in the camping?
I don't need the AC, but man, the bugs, dude.
Heck no.
They bite dark people. Okay.
They bite these clear people
No,
like
sir.
you too,
They
man.
bite. I mean, I got 3 on my ankle right now. You want to see?
Look at this silky smooth skin.
I mean-
no, sir.
What
and-
about Johnny Depp?
Bus pass. Too much drama. Come on.
He's an actor.
Yeah.
A lot of drama.
Johnny Drama. Zoning laws.
Oh, yes, these were tailored just for you. Miller.
First class, because if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Amen. That's a good.
Reeboks.
Like Allen Iverson Reebok.
Reebok.
I'm a Nike man, so bus pass.
Okay.
But I did have the answers. I had the question shoes. Very comfortable, by the way. They had that little mesh in it. Remember?
Oh yeah.
A little. I had a pair. But
The
I mean,
OGs, yeah.
I had that. They were called. So they had 2 shoes. They had the question and the answer. I had the questions.
Oh man,
2 colors.
I was wearing Rockports
You know,
when
so,
I was a
so
teenager.
we didn't call those
Son of a
Reeboks. We
did.
just called those the questions.
Rockports.
Okay.
Taco Bell.
First class.
What's your fave?
Come on, man. Mexican pizza.
It's
All right.
back.
I'm so glad it's back.
Last one. Jack Harlow.
Man, diamond first class. You know.
Oh,
Man, yeah, man. The man's got a story. You know, you gotta love someone that came from the bottom, and you know he did it so gracefully, and he brought a lot of people joy, and that's who you want to see win.
He absolutely is first class.
Very much so.
First class.
Wow, I hadn't heard you sing on this yet.
Dude, listen, we are so thankful that
yeah.
you came today. You're one of my faves in town.
You're first class.
And I've got to ask you one question before you leave. Can I hold $2?
Man, you can hold 4.
Hold $1.
I'll double it.
Thanks, Milan, for being here.
Thank you
Love
so much for
buddy.
your time, man.
Thank
we
you,
appreciate
thank you.
And
Thanks
you're
for having
coming
me.
back in just a few. You're going to repeat guests in a few months. We
Oh,
need
no
you
problem,
back.
man.
Absolutely.
Just the challenge is on you. You better escalate the questions.
I will do it. Thank you so much. Today's show is brought to you in part by Concrete Enterprises. Visit the Concrete Enterprises family of businesses at cefamily.co. That's cefamily.co. Due process. Standardize, onboard, and optimize. Click or call today to see how we can help take your business to the next level. DueProcessUSA.com. Process is Everything is a production of the Levy Studios. It's the right thing to do. Visit thelevystudios.com for more information. Subscribe to Process is Everything wherever you find your favorite podcast.
Process is everything.